Today we're going to be replacing a failed 20-year-old alternator on this '06 Montero. But this will be a guide for how to replace an alternator in your vehicle. Now, this is a transverse mounted engine, a longitudinally mounted engine, so it's going to be easier than, say, a transverse where the engine is turned sideways. So, for this particular vehicle, we're going to be doing a step-by-step process on how to remove your alternator and replace it with a new or refurbished one. So the first thing we're doing in this particular vehicle is I'm going to gain a little bit of space here because we need to take out the serpentine belt. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this upper fan shroud out the way. Now that that's out of the way, I can now get a 1/2 inch ratchet and stick it into my auto tensioner. And what we're going to do is we're going to push it and we're going to remove the serpentine belt off the track. And I set it off. Nope, I was keep getting mixed up. Set it on this one. I'm going to slip the belt off the alternator pulley itself. Go ahead and let it go. And the belt should pretty much stay where it is because it has kind of a memory to it. But before you go any further, if you've never done this before, make sure you guys take note of how the belt is routed on your engine. So in case your belt comes completely off, you know exactly how to put it back in the correct order. Now that's out of the way, now we're going to go ahead and start removing the alternator. I have a 14mm bolt here, and this one down here is going to be a 12mm. We're also going to disconnect it from the back as well. We'll go ahead and start with the 14mm. While I'm taking this off, how do you know that your alternator is bad? The most obvious warning signs you have is erratic lights on your dash. For some vehicles, you'll have the battery light will come on, and that will be an indicator that your alternator is not charging correctly. For my vehicle, my case was, you notice that the lights are dim. Let me change it to 12. I noticed that the lights were dim at night. Then my center diff light started flashing, and then right after that, quite a number of warning lights came on. That would be my anti-lock brakes light, my brakes light, traction control off. Sometimes the AT lights, depending on how it failed, be it a rectifier or the regulator. And then my DIC, which stands for Display Information Center, which is that little computer in the screen of my car. I'm not talking about the other one, get your mind out of the gutter, went blank. But before it did, it told me abnormal voltage. So your car will have several obvious warning signs. Not so subtle signs would be slower behaving electronics. For example, that morning, before my alternator died at night, I noticed that my windshield wipers were running quite slow in every speed. I've chalked it up to that being that the weather was cold, and cold affects electronics and make things run a little sluggish. But later on I figured out why. So enough about that. Let's go ahead and pull out this old alternator. Go ahead and look at that. Before I do that, let me move this out of the way to gain a little bit of space. We're just gonna wiggle it until it comes loose. All right, let's set it down. Now I can access the back. Here's the back of the alternator. We're gonna go ahead and remove that 12mm nut that holds the charging cable off. And then we're also gonna disconnect the harness that plugs into the side of the alternator, and then we should be able to pull it on out of here. Now I know my water hose is kind of wet. Okay, so this one I have is gonna be a 13mm, not a 12. So we go ahead and bump it up a size. There we go. That's more like it. Now, I've already pulled out my battery because I do have a Optima AGM. The battery was at 11.53 volts. So it wasn't as low as I thought it would be because this alternator died about 15 miles from where I was home. So it was, by the grace of God, I got home, and the battery is also a pretty good trooper. Now I'm just going to pull out this harness. But I put it on a slow charger. The battery's at good health. But also I didn't reconnect the battery because one, the alternator would just kill it right again. And two, I'm actually going to do something that involves disconnecting the airbag system on my seat. Okay, this one's on here pretty good. So we'll go ahead and get this off without damaging it, of course. What I'm trying to do is be real careful so I don't damage the connector. Because if I do that, then I have to spend time sourcing a new one. And being that this thing is 20-year-old plastic, you want to take extra care not to do that. There we go. Now that we got it off, it's free, and now we can pull the alternator on out of here. We're going to retain the old alternator because it can be rebuilt. It's a lot better quality than the newer ones that O'Reilly's and AutoZone sells. Because the newer ones they get is built in China and they are not built very well. I had one from O'Reilly's that lasted exactly 9 months before it completely failed on me. What happened with that one is the regulator failed, and as I was driving, the lights get extremely bright. Unlike this one where the rectifier failed, so it wasn't converting the voltage from DC to AC. So this will be kept as a good candidate as a rebuild and put back in service. It's very dusty in here. Here's my refurbished alternator that I took to Brian's alternator starter. They did a very good job of taking it apart, cleaning it, and put it back together. Don't mind the broken fins. This is when I dropped the pipe wrench on it by accident. This is cast aluminum, so it's gonna have a, obviously not gonna stand up to that kind of use. So this is what we're gonna be replacing with. Here's the rebuilt one, and here's the original one. We're going to save this one again, and we're gonna send this one. I'm actually gonna do a video on this one myself and do a how-to rebuild alternator. Just that I haven't got a rectifier and a regulator for it yet, which we definitely need now because this is not producing electricity. Next, let's go ahead and put this alternator in. All right, from here, we're just gonna do everything back in reverse. Now, next we're gonna start is we're gonna get the alternator back in carefully without damaging nearby components. Go ahead and move the belt out of the way. Well, not the belt, but the hose, sorry. Go ahead and get in place. All right, go ahead and take my first bolt, and I'm just gonna basically run it through, and then we'll get it to stay in place. Now, should go without saying, the 14 millimeters is a very long bolt. It goes on top, and the 12 meters is the short one. It goes to the bottom. So you should not confuse that one. I'm gonna reach back here. I'm gonna feel by hand, and I'm going to reconnect the harness for the alternator. I have a feel for it, but it's here somewhere. Sometimes easier if you just connect everything and put it back, and you have to deal with it right after, because the harness is definitely facing downwards, so it's a little, definitely have a feel for it. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take out this bolt. I'm gonna put the harnesses on first, and then we'll just put it up there. Okay. So now I can actually see what I'm doing. There we go. Yep, here we are. Push it in. Make sure that pin's in place. Now that's in. I'm gonna go ahead and put the next wire on there, which is the big battery cable that goes to the battery and charge the battery. Go ahead and install that on. A little tight in here, so I kind of have to feel around for things. Now that's back in place. Go ahead and get our 12 millimeter, and we're gonna go ahead and tighten that on. Okay, make sure it's nice and secure. We don't want that working itself loose while we're on the road driving. Let's go ahead and reinstall the alternator back onto the accessory mounting plate. Okay, now we're back in place. Let's go ahead and reinstall our 14mm long bolt back in. Get it started. It's in. Now let's go down here and get our 12mm bolt back in, which is going to be the shorter one. Oh, let's try again. There it is. Now I'm going to go on the backside alternator and re-tighten down the cable for the battery. What I should have done first was left it loose so that way it can kind of spin freely. So while we push the alternator, it does not put in a bind. Okay, now that that's nice and tight, now I'm going to go down here and I'm going to tighten this bottom 12mm. Get it nice and tight. We didn't want that working stuff loose. Now I'm going to go get my 14mm. We're going to tighten the top one. Okay, nice and tight. Don't over tighten it. We don't want to break anything. Now we're going to go ahead and reroute the belt back to where it goes. So I'm going to carefully move it back. Because it's already starting to come off of the belts and the pulleys. Let's go here. All right, just back in place. Just go ahead and look at each all the belts. Make sure nothing's riding on the lip of the pulleys. Now let that there. Take your 1/2-inch ratchet. Push on this very hard. Get the belt underneath. Oh, this one is not on. There we go. Let it go. Now before you go and start your engine, what you want to do is go and make sure that all of the belts are within the groove, right? You don't want to run the edge, and you want to make sure everything is aligned, because when you go and start the engine, you don't want to throw the belts off the pulleys. Now, let's go ahead and put that fan trail back in place. All right, and there you have it. And that's how you change an alternator on your vehicle. Partly for this one, but the process is going to be more or less somewhat similar with every other vehicle. Some will be harder to get to, some will be easier to get to. Chevys have their stuff up here, so they're pretty easy to get to. Some are tucked away down below, and it's a little harder. So I won't start the engine right now, so that'll be a little later. The reason being is, again, I'm going to be pulling out my seats, and they have airbag systems on them, and you have to have the voltage drained out of the vehicle so you don't plug them and they don't set off an airbag. So once I get my seats taken care of, you're going to see at the end of the video where I actually start the vehicle. I'm going to take my multimeter and I'm going to put on the batteries, and we're going to verify the voltage, make sure that they're putting out the correct voltage, which is 13.5 to 14, actually 13.8 to 14.5 volts. And then we'll take it for a test drive, and then we'll go from there. So you'll see that later on the video. So it's going to be a break, so the time of the day is going to be quite different. Now we're going to go ahead and test the battery like I said before. So we'll grab my multimeter, and what we're going to do is we're going to verify that the alternator is putting out the correct voltage when we go and start the engine. So we're going to go set it to volts DC. It's going to be the one with the solid line and the 3 dashes right underneath. This represents volts DC because it's direct. This one's gonna be volts AC. You see how it has a wavy line? That means alternating current. So you're gonna set it to DC like we are for. Now I'm gonna take my positive lead. I'm going to put it the positive terminal. Try to get a stick somewhere. And take my negative. Oh. Better have some alligator clamps or something, but either way, this thing is very frozen. It doesn't want to untangle it. Let's try again. Okay, put that over there. Keep it nice and steady so when I start the car, the engine doesn't shake it loose. All right, I had to hold it. So now we got 12.38 volts. Now I did drive this car yesterday and it's a bit chilly, but this is a good battery. So let me try and get this thing to sit still. So I had to go in there and start the car. Let's see if this works. There we go, got an alligator clip. Okay, got an alligator clip. So 12.39 volts. Now we're gonna go ahead and start the car and verify that the alternator is putting out the correct voltage. All right, we're getting 14.2833 volts. So now we know that the alternator is putting out the correct voltage, the regulator is working, and the rectifier is working correctly as well. One thing, don't worry if you end up putting the leads on backwards. Look, the leads aren't races, okay? All they care about is electricity, not color. So all you're gonna have is just a negative integer. So it's gonna say negative 12 volts instead of positive. And if you see a negative, it just means that your leads are backwards. But unless your thing is a diode or anything specific, we're just basically doing a basic voltage test. So you don't really have to worry about anything at this point. That shows that this was a successful repair. The alternator is putting out the correct voltage. And seeing how I drove this yesterday and it did not conk out on me, I'd say it's a good to go repair. Well, and that's how you change an alternator on your vehicle. I hope you enjoyed the video, everyone. If you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe, leave any comments below on how I can make it better. I did get a microphone some time ago because looking back at some of my videos, I realized the cameras were having a harder time picking up my voice. So I have a microphone, see if that's much better. But other than that, like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, you forgot how your belt's routed or any other concerns, leave a message in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. As always, guys, you guys have a good day.